Praise the Lord. This is the introductory course in translation principles. We're on part 6 about discovering the grammar of your language. And in today's lesson, we're going to learn about singular and plural nouns and the noun class system in Bantu languages. In a previous lesson, we learned about different types or levels of linguistics. One of the basic levels is phonetics, which is studying the sounds. That's studying the sounds of the language. I'll just write that down. The sounds that exist in the language. It's not studying the words. It's not studying anything but just the sounds that are made. Then phonology studies the patterns that those sounds fit together in. Morphology study the forms of the words that can be formed. And syntax studies the order of words. So today we're going to study about the forms of the words at the morphological level. And of course, when you study this, it touches back on some phonology and phonetic concepts. Let me give you an example. In English, if you want to take a noun like the word dog and make it plural, you add an S. Girl, you add an S. House, you add an S. So we could say that the rule is to make a noun plural in English, add an S. But sometimes you have different words that don't obey this rule. Take this word, for example, box, box. If you just take our rule, you would come up with this word, but that is not correct. That's not how we make the word box. In fact, my spell checker is saying that this is incorrect. To make this word, I have to add ES. Likewise with the word kiss, kiss. We can't just add an S, but we add ES. And likewise with bench, we can't add an S, we have to add ES. So some words in English, we have to make a different rule. So we'll change our rule. We'll say to make a noun plural in English, add an S. But if the word ends in an S, CH, if the word ends in S, double S, SH, CH, X, or Z, then we have to add ES to the word. But there's still more complications. Take words like kitty, a baby cat. We call that a kitty. Or the word baby. Or the word puppy, a small dog. A young dog. Or the word party. For those ones, they end in Y. You notice all these words end in the letter Y. So for them, we have to add IES. If you would just write an S on the end, that would be incorrect, but it has to be IES. Some words in English, like the word wife, you often change the FE at the end to a VE, and you would have wives. The same with the word wolf, which is a wild dog that can kill and eat people. But it's not true with all words that end in F. We have the word roof, and for that word you would just add an S. We said some words that end in Y, you change the Y and make it to IES, like baby would go to babies, but that isn't true with all words. Here's a word like ray. Let me put them together on the same page so you can see them more easily. I'll take this word ray, like the ray of the sun. You would just add an S. Here we have the word boy, and to make it plural, you would make it boys. So the rule here is, if the word ends in Y, but before the letter Y there's a vowel, then you just add an S. You see here, before the letter Y, there are consonants. Before each of these, there are consonants. Now, there are actually 11 different rules in English for making singular words plural words. 11 different rules. And what we want to do in this lesson is we want to discover how your language makes singular nouns into plural nouns. Now, you remember early on we talked about each language has its own form, its own shape. You shouldn't try to make one language to be the shape or form of another language. If you looked at the 11 rules of English for making singular nouns, plural nouns, none of them would fit your language. Not one of them. You think about it. You take the word for boy in your language. I know in Chinyanja, young man is manyamata, and the plural would be anyamata. You don't add an S at the end of the word. So what we want to do in this lesson is to discover how your language makes singular nouns into plural nouns. And you have to forget everything that English does and find your own system. Likewise, we're saying don't try to make your language to be like English. We also don't want you to make your language to be like a similar language within the same country. Each language is unique. And therefore, the purpose of this teaching is that you would find out what does my language do. Don't try to make your language to be like Tonga or Tumbuka or Ila or some other language. Find out, it may be in some aspects, but you want to find out the system of your language and document that. We're going to take the example of the Swahili language and watch a short video about what we call the noun class system within Swahili. And this will be about a 12-minute video. And in this video, you'll see that the teacher has organized different words according to different classes. Here I can see that she wrote 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then she has the locative noun classes. Locative has to do with location, pa, ku, and m. So let's watch this video, and then you'll have a better understanding of the noun class systems that can occur within Bantu languages.
Habari, karibu tujifunze Kiswahili. Hello everyone, welcome back to my class. If you're new here, karibu sana. I am very happy to have you here today. And ninaitwa Mwalimu Patricia. My name is Patricia. And in our today's lesson, we are going to learn about noun classes. Swahili noun classes. So, nouns are grouped into classes based on their characteristics they have and based on their prefixes, noun prefixes, okay? So these are noun classes, and these nouns are grouped into classes based on their characteristics as a noun and based on prefixes, okay? So let's get started. So the first class is wa noun class. Wa noun class. So this class talk about people and animals. It talks about people and animals. Talk about living things, people and animals, okay? So stands for the singular and wa is for plural, okay? So the first and second noun class is wa noun class. For the singular and wa for the plural. For example, mtu, watu, mzee, wazee, mtoto, watoto, msichana, wasichana. Okay, so mtu is a person in singular, mtu, and in plural, watu. Mtu, watu. Okay, mzee. This means an old person. Mzee. Wazee. Wazee in plural. Mzee in singular. Old person. Mzee. And old person. Wazee in plural. Okay? Wazee. Mtoto. A child. Mtoto in singular. Watoto. Watoto, children. Msichana. Msichana, a girl. Msichana in singular, and in plural, wasichana. Wasichana, girls, okay? So stands for the singular and wa is for the plural. So the first and second class is wa noun class. So this is the general overview. So we'll talk about this noun class in our next lesson, okay? So today we are going to see the general overview first, okay? So the third and fourth noun class is me. For the singular and me for the plural. So this class talk about nature. Nature, okay? For example, mji, miji, mlango, milango, mto, mito, mmea, mimea, Okay, so mji, this is the city. In Swahili, city is mji. So in plural, miji, cities, miji, okay? Mlango is a door. In plural, milango, milango, doors, okay? Mto is a river. And in plural, mito, rivers, mito, okay? Mmea is a plant, mmea, mimea, plants, mimea. So for the singular and mi stands for the plural. So the third and fourth class is mi noun class. So the fifth and sixth class is jima, jima, G for the singular and ma for the plural. So for example, Gigi, majiji, Gigi, majiji, jicho, macho, jicho, macho. So jicho, this is an eye, macho, eyes. Jiko, jiko, majiko. So jiko, this is kitchen, and majiko, kitchens. Okay, so the fifth and the sixth class is Jima noun class. Okay, and the seventh and eighth noun class is Kiwi noun class. So in this class, it talks about all the things. All things are grouped into this class that starts with ki and v. Ki for the singular and v for the plural. Okay, based on the characteristics of the noun and the prefixes. So those classes, those things that their prefixes start with ki in singular and v in plural are grouped here. Okay, so ki for the singular and v for plural. For example, kijiko, vijiko, kikombe, vikombe, okay? Kioo, vioo, okay? Kijiji, vijiji. So kijiko is a spoon. So in plural we say vijiko, vijiko, okay? Kikombe, vikombe. Kikombe is a cup, and vikombe, these are cups, okay? Kikombe, a cup, vikombe, cups. Kioo is a mirror, vioo, mirrors, okay? Kijiji, a village, vijiji, villages, okay? So Kiwi noun class. So this is the seventh and eighth noun class is Kiwi noun class. The ninth and 10th noun class, this is NN noun class. So this class talk about abstract things. For example, nguo, in plural, nguo. Nazi, in plural is just the same, nazi. Njia, njia. Nyanya, nyanya. Nyumba, nyumba. So nguo is a cloth. In plural we say nguo, okay? Nazi is a coconut, coconut. In plural, nazi. Njia is a way. In plural, njia. Nyanya, tomato. In plural, nyanya, tomatoes. So nyanya in singular and nyanya in plural is just the same. Nyumba in singular, and in plural, nyumba. Okay, so NN noun class, this is a 10, 8, and 10 noun class. 9 and 10 noun class, this is NN noun class. Talk about abstract things, okay? So 11th and 14th noun class, this is UN noun class. For example, uso, nyuso, in plural, face, in singular, in plural, we say nyuso, faces, okay? Ufa is a click. In plural, we say nyufa, clicks. Okay, so UN noun class, this is the 11th and 14th noun class, UN noun class. And another class, 15th noun class, this is cool, gallant noun class. Cool, gallant noun class. And 16th, 17, and 18 noun class, this is locative noun class, pakum. So we will talk about these classes in advanced level. So in general, these are noun classes, the general description of noun classes. So the next lesson, we will start to describe noun classes and its groups. Okay, so we will learn about noun class, and we will have some examples in how to form some sentences and how to use these noun classes in singular and in plural. Okay, so we will learn in general about noun class in our next lesson. So these are noun classes and the general overview of noun classes. Asante sana. Tutaonana wakati mwingine. Kwaheri.
Okay, I hope that video gave you a better understanding of noun class systems. What we're gonna do in this lesson is we're gonna look at other noun class systems. We're gonna look at other languages. Noun class systems. And this is going to give you a background to help you to understand this idea of noun class systems. We're going to look at the Ila noun class system. We're going to take a look at the Tonga noun class system. And maybe a few others. And the purpose of this lesson is that you're going to find out the noun class system of your language. Now, I'm going to not go over every word in every noun class system, but this is the Ila noun class system. And they have class 1. You see they've written singular. And the prefix of words in that noun class system is mu. Now in this system they have the class 1 plural. So both class 1 have singular and plural. And I imagine that one of the words here would be muntu and bantu. Let's go on to class 2. They have class 2, singular and plural. Class 3 is singular and plural. Class 4, they have singular and plural. Class 5, singular and plural. And it goes on that way for class 6, class 7, class 8, class 9, and class 10. This is a different way of organizing. The Ila system, this system, has organized it differently than, so there's different ways of organizing it. I like the Ila system instead of using 1, 2 here and 3, 4. Actually, to me, this is one class. This should be class 1, singular and plural, and this would be class 2, singular and plural, and class 3, singular and plural. That's the way I'm used to learning it in Nyanja, and I prefer that way, that how they've done it here. So let's plan on doing that for this lesson. So if I'm going to make a chart, I'm going to insert a chart, and it may not be exactly the same on your computer. Let me make this chart smaller. So I would have the class number, and this would be class number 1, and a singular and a plural. So with the Ila, it's mu. I want to use small letters there, and ba for the plural. And an example that I could put here would be muntu, and the plural would be bantu. I guess I can get rid of this column. I really don't need, well, I could put in this column maybe some notes. I'll put in this column some notes. This means for people. Human beings might be a better way to describe that, so I wrote that. And then, so in this column, we're going to put down the number of the noun class, and not sure how many you will have. You could have 5, you could have 11, you could have 20. Depends on what your language is like. I'm going to take another example. Let me just adjust these column sizes a little bit. You can do that by taking this and dragging it over there. I'm going to take class number 3, and this time I'm going to take Nyanja, and it's M hyphen, and the plural would be the MI. So an example would be mtengo, which means tree. And if I want to say mtengo, that means trees. So this often has the names of trees, plants, things made from wood, some animal names, some liquids, Another possibility in this class is mu. Take the word for, let me do it this way. I'll take this and put it below our example. We're going to make it part of this. Put this down here, mu hyphen, and the example here is munda, which means a field, and the plural is the same way. Say minda. We could broaden our notes and say things that have to do with plants. So a field would have to do with plants. Let me show you a noun class system of Nyanja, and you'll start to understand this. In this column, we put down the numbers of the class, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. Here we put down the singular forms, and here we put down the plural forms. So in this class today, you'll be making a list of the noun class system in your language, and it's not going to be like Nyanja, but we want you to follow the basic system of putting the number of the noun class, the singular form here, and the plural form here. Let me scroll down so you can see the rest of this. In Nyanja, we see that there are 6 noun classes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 is really a diminutive. We call this the diminutive and the form of something that's larger. We could say kabuku. Kabuku means a small book. Or tibuku would be many small books. We call this diminutive. And class number 9 is the locatives, ku, pa, and mu. It has to do with location. Call that locative. So let me write that for you here. On the Nyanja chart that I just showed you, they had the diminutive for class number 7. And there's also the locative. Okay, I have it spelled correctly now. That's how you spell diminutive. It means to make something small. If you, in your language, you may have a way of making things small. That would be the diminutive class. But you also give it a number. And you may have a way in your language of talking about the location of something. That would be the locative class. So you're going to make a chart like something like this for your language. And the class numbers here, singular, plural, and notes about that noun class. Okay, I want to show you a noun class system from another language called Tonga. Here we have the number of the noun class, the singular, and then the plural. It'll probably be good if we put a little space between those so you can see them. I'm just going to scroll through these without saying too much about them. There's different possibilities within one class. I don't know if this is a mistake and it should be noun class 6, or if they Made a mistake, and this should be a 4 here. I'm not sure. And that should be maybe a 6. I'm not sure. But here's class 7, class 8. Let me show you another view of the Tonga noun class system. Here we see here they've used 1 for the singular and 2 for the plural. And they said this refers to human beings and animals. You can stop the video if you like and look this over. You notice in class 2 they have listed honorific plurals, how you might address somebody with honor. Batata. Class 3. Here's class 4, 5, and 6. You'll notice that in class number 5, there's a note here. It says the sign of the class is constant alternation or 0. 0 here means that there is no marker for that class. There's no word before it or no syllable put in front of it. So that's referring to these words. They can be written without that initial syllable. Class number 6. Seven. 8, 9, and 10. I hope you're stopping the video and studying this if you need to. We have classes 11, 12, 13, 14. Notice that class 11 is some abstract verbs, such as the word for journey, or the word for property. Here's the mention of diminutives. And we'll stop at numbers 16, 17, and 18. So why am I showing you that? I'm showing you that to show you that different languages have different noun class systems. And for this lesson, you're going to find the noun class system of your language. Now, for this assignment, I want you to use the recorded text that you have collected. You should have collected at least 3 texts before beginning this assignment. You can use other words that come to mind, but it's good for you to use the text that you have collected. I want to give you your assignment. The first step is to make a chart on a piece of paper. You can just draw it with paper and pen on a piece of paper. And in the first column, you'll put the numbers. And you'll start to list some words from what you've learned in this lesson. What would be the singular form of the word? And we'll take the example of muntu. And the actual prefix that is used here is mu. There we go. And the plural form of that, if I was doing nyanja, would be bantu. So on your chart, you'll put down the prefix, if there is a prefix. Sometimes there is no prefix. And if that's the case, then you just say 0. You can say 0 if there's no prefix. I'll do it down here below so that 0 prefix, or you can just write it like this way with a dash. Some people like to write an actual 0. And you'll put down examples. I want you to put down several examples here, at least 5 for each class. So I've got at least 5 words from this class. Now you'll notice that not all of them start with mu. Some of them start with other things like mwana. It's a human being. But I consider it part of this class, so I'm going to write down MW. And some of them just have an M, like mkazi. You know, if you know nyanja, mkazi is the word for woman. And M will also cover mdindo, that's a watcher. From the word kulinda, to watch, mdindo, or mziwa, one who knows. Okay? So these are actually all, look how my class has now grown. It's not just mu, but it's MW and also M. And over in this column, I would list all the, make them nice and make them nice across from each other. This would be bana. And you won't say bakazi. I don't think you would. But you would say akazi. So now I've got to modify my class and say that A is also a possibility. And over here I'm going to put down, I'm not going to finish all these, but you need to have examples of all of them. I think it would be adindo and aziwa, if I'm not mistaken. I guess I will copy it. Adindo and oh. And over in this column on my paper, I'm going to put down my notes. These are things that have to do with human beings, maybe some animals. You can write down all the notes that you think why things go in that class. So you're going to make your chart for class number 2 and class number 3. And I want you to have at least 5 examples for each class. 5 words written in both singular and plural. Sometimes the word written in singular will be the same as the word written in plural. There will be no change. But I want you to write all those down. And See how many classes you can come up. You might come up with 6 classes, you might come up with 16. Don't forget the diminutive, honorifics, the locatives. All those should be a part of this assignment. Okay, so you're going to make this chart, and I want you to make at least 5 examples for each class. I have 5 words for class number 1 in singular and 5 in plural. Now compare your list with others in your group who are doing the same assignment and change your list so that everyone has different words. In other words, if somebody else has already taken this word, then you need to come up with a different word. We want to make a list of all the words, and so if there's 3 people doing this assignment, we should have 15 different words. Okay? In other words, you cannot use the same word that somebody else has used. I hope that's clear. If you need to come up with a different word. The third step is to write them both in singular and plural. Okay? Not just one side, but write them both. Sometimes the words on the singular and the plural are going to be the same on both sides. That's okay. For example, in English we say rice, the word for mpunga. I don't think there's a plural in Nyanja for mpunga. We just say mpunga and mpunga. You can write the word twice. Step number 4, add notes. Add notes describing what is included in that class. Add your notes here. You can add lots of notes telling what makes that a class, a grouping. Don't forget to add other classes like diminutives, honorifics, locatives. Number 6 is, what other things do nouns do in your language that maybe do not fit into this noun class system? Think about this question and write that down also on your paper. Okay, we've reached the end of this teaching on discovering the grammar of your language, singular and plural nouns, and noun class systems.